Hey brother! Ben, it seems like so many of the mysteries in Star Wars right now stem from the fact that we just don't know very much about what happened between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. But the latest addition to the Star Wars canon, Star Wars Battlefront 2, takes place during exactly that time period and starts to fill in some of the gaps. Even though I knew this game counted as canon, I thought to myself, what kind of answers can we really expect? At best, I figured it'd be kind of like Rogue One, the backstory of some, while real, minor character that doesn't really affect the main cast that much. Maybe I thought we'd get some cool nugget like, where did the First Order start, or why are they still using stormtroopers? But never did I think they would address the biggest mystery of them all, Rey's parents. How could they reveal this here and not in the movie theaters on the big screen? Now, to be fair, it isn't officially confirmed in the game, but allow me to walk you through my journey. By the way, massive spoilers for the campaign and story mode of Star Wars Battlefront 2 ahead. You have been warned. Star Wars Battlefront 2 picks up during the Battle of Endor in The Return of the Jedi and ends just before The Force Awakens begins and follows the story of Iden Versio. Versio is the captain of an Imperial Special Forces commander unit during the Galactic Civil War. And by unit, I mean all of 3 people. Herself and 2 others. These guys, Agents Hask and Del. Iden and her squad are on Endor when the second Death Star explodes, and with it, her entire life. The game actually gives us a really unique perspective that we're not accustomed to seeing in the Star Wars universe. We're following the story of someone who chose to join the Empire, who believed in their ideals and can actually shoot a blaster straight for once. You find out her father is an admiral in the Imperial fleet and her mother creates war propaganda, aka her entire life has been in service to the Empire, and she just watched their main base and her Emperor explode in the sky. But the destruction of the Death Star doesn't quite mean the end of the war the way it's depicted at the end of Return of the Jedi. There are still plenty of Imperial forces across the galaxy, and naturally the Emperor has left a contingency plan for his admirals in the event of his death. These plans basically include torching various planets across the galaxy to continue to induce fear to the Empire, which Iden is initially on board with until she is ordered to attack her home planet of Vardos by her dad, the Dadmiral, if you will, which Iden is none too cool with. Dad, are you really gonna torch our home planet just because the recording of some dead guy told you to? Yep. All right, cool. Well, if you need me, I'll just be upstairs in my room committing treason. Don't worry about it. Paraphrasing, of course. Either way, the end result is that Iden and one other member of Inferno Squad, Del, decide to turn their backs on the Empire, while the third member, Hask, stays loyal. Iden and Del immediately turn themselves over to the Rebel Alliance and begin giving them as much information as they can, and eventually full-on join them. And the rest of the game is mostly Iden and Del carrying out various missions for the Alliance. But importantly, they each spend meaningful time with both Luke and Leia. My favorite of these missions and favorite part of the whole game is when it reaches its climax in the massive battle above Jakku. I mean, when you see it, it totally explains why there are so many scattered fallen ships for Rey to scavenge, but also importantly reveals that Iden and Del have become seasoned X-Wing pilots. But what's really important is what happens on the surface of Jakku after the fight is over and the Alliance win. Iden and Del meet up and realize that the war at long last is finally over, and that as lifelong soldiers, they no longer have anyone to fight, and decide they can finally try a life of normalcy. Together. Aww. Yeah, so if you can't tell, what I'm suggesting here is that these two, Iden and Del, could quite possibly be Rey's parents. And I know that might sound a little far-fetched, but stick with me, I've got a lot more to cover. After the battle on Jakku, you get sent forward a couple of decades and are now playing as Kylo Ren, who is now attacking Del's mind, trying to uncover what he did with the map that leads to Luke. It's kind of cool, like whenever in the movies you see Kylo Ren do this to Rey and Poe, you get to see what he's actually doing. But I should explain why he's attacking Del. See, earlier in the game, Del accompanies Luke on a secret mission where Luke enters the Emperor's secret vault and recovers a compass. Secret vault, compass, map, Luke missing. Yeah, there's definitely a story there, but that's probably for another video. But the important things you learn from Kylo here is that Del is the one who gave the map to Lor San Tekka on Jakku at the beginning of The Force Awakens.
This will begin to make things right.
And that during that mission with Luke, Del found the Force. But most importantly, after Kylo is done interrogating Del, he orders Hask, who, spoilers, is still alive, to kill Del, but not before berating him about betraying him. And for what? For what, Del? For, wait for it, fatherhood? Okay, so with all of the background information finally out of the way, what we are left with is two ex-Empire soldiers turned Rebel Alliance X-Wing pilots who fell in love on Jakku, had a child together, had meaningful interactions with Luke and Leia, and who once held the map to Luke. And almost every single bit of that points to these two being Rey's parents. First of all, Rey is definitely the correct age for someone who was conceived shortly after the Battle of Jakku, and Jakku as a location makes sense because it's the place Iden and Del fell in love. Also, remember the doll and helmet Rey has in her house, the X-Wing pilot and the X-Wing helmet? We take these as hints that Rey sympathizes with the rebellion. But for as long as she's been alive, the Empire has been defeated. Like, she wouldn't have even known about the Empire, so why be such a fan of the Alliance? Unless these are not mementos of the Alliance, but instead of her X-Wing pilot parents. Plus, we know Rey is there waiting for her parents to return. And guess what? If Del's her father, it means he literally did just return when he gave the map to Lor San Tekka. I mean, maybe Del was literally there to reunite with Rey before realizing he was being hunted by Kylo Ren. But that being said, being in possession of the map is a good reason to have left Rey alone in the first place. Because holding that map all but guarantees you're going to be hunted, and that would definitely have put their young daughter Rey in danger. And it even makes sense for Del to have been the one carrying the map for so many years, because he was the one with Luke when he found the compass, which is what I'm guessing he used to make the map in the first place. Interestingly, do you know who might be able to confirm this chain of events, but who carefully shares no screen time with Rey during all of The Force Awakens? Poe Dameron. It's weird, right? The three new main good guys don't even all meet each other in the entirety of the first movie? Why keep them apart? Unless maybe one of them could reveal some big information to the other one. There's also the fact that over the course of the game, Iden and Del have an obvious working relationship with Luke and Leia, which could explain that weird moment Leia and Rey share at the end of Force Awakens. Because Leia seems to recognize her, which would kind of make sense if she knew her parents. But if these two are her parents, then how is Rey so strong with the Force? Well, again, Del does say he discovered the Force, so it wouldn't be that weird for Rey to be Force sensitive. Plus, this is less important, but I'm gonna throw it in there anyway. Del is British, which could account for Rey's accent. And do you know what the publishing company is for all of the Star Wars books? Wait for it. Del Rey. Oh, it just all lines up really well. But I bet the main issue you're still having sitting at home is, Jay. Rey's parents are like the biggest mystery of the whole Star Wars universe. They're not gonna reveal this information in a video game 1 month before the movie comes out, are they? Yes, I agree. It does seem unlikely, but here's why that would be okay. It's because if Luke isn't Rey's father, then who her parents are just doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't. If it's not Luke, then the fact that Rey's parents were ex-Empire turned Alliance fighters who once held the map that led to Luke is still a pretty awesome backstory. And if they're both dead, and Maz kind of hints that they are,
they're never coming back.
And we know at least Del is dead, then Battlefront actually serves as a really cool opportunity for you to get to know these characters that you might not meet on screen. But then why make us wonder so much about it? Why make it such a big mystery? Because of this line here.
No, I am your father.
The Last Jedi will forever be compared to The Empire Strikes Back and its most famous of reveals. So if I'm writing Star Wars, my question is, how do you pull that off again? The way you do it is by making everyone question the wrong character.
Classified, really? Me too. Big secret.
It calls to you.
For my family. They'll be back.
My big argument for Luke being Rey's father has always been that Star Wars is about the Skywalkers. And I still think that's true. I just think somebody else is the Skywalker. Somebody whose parents have apparently already been confirmed. Someone named Kylo Ren. If you want to trick everyone, you have to give everyone certainty about a character so that they don't wonder about him. Maybe even give him a really dramatic moment that drives home the relationship you're trying to sell, like maybe have him kill his father. Or should I say, adopted father. It's like when Obi-Wan tells Luke,
He betrayed and murdered your father.
you don't wonder about it anymore because they gave you the answer. You have certainty about what happened to Luke's father, up until you don't. Now, to be clear, just because I'm saying Luke is the father, I am not saying Leia is the mother. I'm saying Han and Leia adopted Luke's child. Let me ask you this. Why would Han and Leia name their son Ben? Leia only ever knows him as Obi-Wan, and she literally never meets him before he dies. And Han only knew him for like 3 hours one day and thought he was a crazy old man. Luke, on the other hand, is constantly calling him Ben.
He means old Ben.
Obi-Wan is the one who rescued him from Tatooine, who gave him his lightsaber, who trained him as a Jedi, who visits him as a Force ghost over and over again. It just makes way more sense for Luke's son to be named Ben. Whether Kylo knows this or not is kinda up for debate though. Maybe that's why he decided to go all dark side. Maybe that's why he feels so disappointed in Han Solo. Maybe that's why he thinks the lightsaber truly belongs to him.
That lightsaber, it belongs to me.
Or maybe he has no idea.
Luke is a Jedi. You're his father.
I think Leia says this to Han to remind him that even though Ben is Luke's biological son, that he is a Jedi and gave him up to be raised by Han and Leia, therefore making Han his true father. And Luke. And these are Rey's parents. Ben, my question for you and everyone else is, what do you think? Could Iden be Rey's mom? And could Luke be Kylo Ren's father? Let me know your thoughts in the towel section down below. These socks are amazing! Guys, thanks for watching. As always, please remember to like this video if you haven't already and subscribe so you don't miss any future Star Wars action from us. If you would like to see the top 6 unplanned moments in Star Wars, you can check out this video right here. Or if you want to see lightsaber colors explained, you can check out this video right here. But Ben, that's all I got for you today, man. I will see you in another life, bro.